I'm Mungo Darkmatter, and welcome to Dark Matters. Today on Dark Matters, I'm going to review the IOGear DVI 4-port KVMP switch, which is a switch which will switch your keyboard, your video, your mice, and peripherals. You note here there's a plug for a mic or speakers. On the front, those plugs are also on the back as well. There's a USB port up front here for any USB peripheral, and you could actually plug a flash drive in here and switch this port back and forth between computers. Like if you wanted to move a file from one computer to another, you could actually copy it to USB flash drive there, switch it over to another computer, and then copy it off of this particular port. So that's a nice feature. Right here you'll see two different lights. There's a green light down here and a yellow light. There's a dim yellow light over here indicating I have another computer plugged in and it is on. The bright light indicates that that's the monitor that's selected, the bright yellow light, that is. The green light is for the USB peripheral. So if I press this button once, it will switch everything over to this screen, but it leaves the peripheral there. So the peripherals are still on the first one. Now that means it moves the keyboard, the mice over, but not the USB port. To get the USB to move over, you have to actually hold it down for a second, and then you'll see the green light moves over. Now in this particular configuration, I've actually plugged a 2-port hub into the back where there's a USB to peripheral port, and plugged the keyboard and the mouse into that. And the reason is because I have a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse right here, and they need the full USB peripheral. Apparently on the mice and keyboards of many of these switches, or many different KVM switches, it doesn't have a full communication link or a continual one, so you lose communication between the more advanced keyboards and mice, so you may need to plug it into the actual USB port. So that's something to be aware of. Also, with this particular keyboard, actually the keys light up different colors, and it needs power for those keys to light up different colors. So it actually has two USB plugs in the back, but I was able to plug the USB plug for just the lights, which get the power for the lights, into the regular keyboard socket on the back, and then the actual keyboard socket for this particular keyboard I plugged into the USB hub that plugs into the USB port in the back. Now, because I'm using the USB port for the keyboard and the mouse, I need to make sure this green light moves over. So I can't just hit the key once and switch monitors. I have to hold it down so that green light follows, so that I will have my keyboard and my mouse. Let's hold that down. There it goes. So that's one caveat with this. If you just have a regular keyboard and a regular mouse, you don't need to worry about that. But that is a feature and a workaround so that you can use a gaming mouse and a gaming keyboard with this particular switch, and it'll probably work on other switches as well. Also, there is the sound over here. You can actually switch the sound through your speakers back and forth if you wish to, which is a nice feature as well. So it's a really nice switch. It works really well, and I would highly recommend this switch. There are a couple other features on it. Let me go up to the screen here. Now if I press the button to switch screens real quick here, you'll see it takes a second and switches to the next screen. Then I can switch it back. Takes a second, comes back there. The other thing I can do is I can hold these two top buttons down together and release it. And let me try it again. There we go. And that light will start to flash there. What that does is it switches between all of the monitors. I only have two computers hooked up here now. It switches between the monitors on all the computers that you would have. So you can cycle through whatever you have on the screen in case you just want to have up on the screen what's going on each computer, and then you can just press the button and select one and stop it there, and it will stay to that particular monitor. So that's another feature that's really nice on this KVMP switch. I've been using the IOGear DVI 4-port KVMP switch for several weeks now, and it's worked great for me. Now, there were quirks I had to work out that had to do with my particular setup. For example, as I mentioned in the video, I had some problems with my gaming keyboard and my gaming mouse, but I mentioned in the video how I handled that problem. Another problem I had was the switch actually comes with cables, which is great, but the cables are only 6-foot cables, which would work with a lot of setups if you had all of your CPUs around the same desk. But I have 2 of my CPUs over on a desk to the left here, and I needed longer cables for that, so I had to order some cables that were slightly longer so I could reach those particular CPUs. So that's something to bear in mind. Even though it does come with all the cables are only 6 feet long, so if you have a CPU that's a little farther away than that, you may have to buy another cable. I also did an unboxing video, and I'll put a link to that video in the description of this video below, in case you want to see that as well. I'm Mungo Darkmatter, and this has been Dark Matters, and whatever you do, enjoy technology. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.